Absolute Radio.
We are Absolute Radio, and this is Rock and Roll Football.
Rock and Roll Football Live. Russ Williams here until 3 o'clock. We're at St James's Park today. Newcastle against Fulham. Time for the blog off now. Just a little reminder, Fulham's Danny Murphy still to come on the show, and Newcastle's excellent young goalkeeper, Tim Krul. But let's meet the protagonist now on the blog off. First up, it's Simon Baker, Toonsy. Is that your nickname?
It is indeed.
Toonsy, welcome to Rock and Roll Football. You've got the Newcastle blog that you run, which is nufcblog.org. How many years have you been a fan for?
Oh, I've Newcastle all my life.
Right.
Well, that's got to be, it's 28 years now.
Well, the reason I sound surprised is you don't sound like you come from Newcastle.
No, well, like I said, I was born up there, and my accent's been diluted all the way from moving down south, I'm afraid.
You've never lost the passion for the Toon Army, though?
Oh, absolutely not. I'm balmy about them.
OK, well, on the blog off, I've got 3 questions, and you and a representative from Fulham Football Club are going to go head-to-head, and whoever gives the best answers will get the points, OK?
OK.
Who do you think you're up against from Fulham?
Oh, I'm guessing it's going to be someone who's got an answer for everything.
Correct. It's David Hamilton. Hi, Dave.
Hi, Russ. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to Simon up in Newcastle.
Yeah, good afternoon.
So, David, how many years have you been the announcer at Craven Cottage for?
This is my 15th season.
Right, and you've been a fan for many, many years. I mean, I know that you used to go there where Bestie and Marshy, and probably before that were playing for Fulham.
I first went there, actually, Russ, when I was a boy, because my mother lived in a flat just near Putney Bridge Station, and I used to walk through the park to the ground. It was my local ground, and the first time I saw a footballer not actually in shorts was I was kicking around with a pal of mine. We were having a kick around in the park, and this very debonair, smartly dressed character came walking towards us, and I said to my pal, "That's Bobby Robson," and we were too shy to go and ask for his autograph.
Ah, there you go. Things have changed now, David, obviously, with you.
Yeah.
You've gone on to international fame and fortune. I hope you're not intimidated by this, Simon.
No, not at all.
OK, gentlemen, question number 1. And, Simon, you can go first from nufcblog.org. Show us your medals.
Well, we've got 6 FA Cups, 4 First Division Championships, the Premier League, the forerunner of the Premier League. Unfortunately, we've not won anything for years, but they all count. 11 major honours overall in our history. What more can you ask for?
Fairs Cup, don't forget that.
Oh, yeah, well... That's number 11, isn't it?
That's the last major trophy you won, isn't it?
The last one, yes. Yeah, 1969.
Bobby Moncur and the boys and all that, fantastic.
Intertoto Cup.
Well, OK, well, I'm not sure we'll include that. Yeah, we will, because it is an official trophy. David, that's a pretty interesting array. What about your medals for Fulham?
This has been the best time in our history. In the last 14 years, Russ, we've had 3 promotions, and we've had a Europa League final. So, that's as good as it gets, really.
You're struggling, David, you're struggling.
For losers' medals, the best you can get. I mean, come on.
Ooh, bit of antagonism here on Rock and Roll Football. I'm sorry, Dave, you made a valiant effort there, but I'm giving the first one to Simon. So Newcastle are leading 1-0. Ground, David, Craven Cottage. We love Craven Cottage. Why do you, and why is it better than St James's Park?
Well, it's the best football stadium in the country. It's not the biggest, of course, not the grandest, but it's the most picturesque. It's full of character. It has that wonderful setting on the river. It has the listed buildings, which are Craven Cottage and the Johnny Haynes stand, and it has a totally unique atmosphere. Everybody loves coming to Fulham.
And you stoke them up, don't you? When you get on that microphone, you get them all going.
I stoke them up, and when the teams come out, I say, ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime, because at Fulham we like a little bit of showbiz.
Right. St James's Park, one of the great football stadiums in England, Simon. What do you reckon to that?
Well, I mean, don't forget, we've played, that's our only ground. I mean, it's been redeveloped. It's one of the only grounds you find in the middle of a city centre. You can walk straight out of the ground, you're straight into the city centre, you can go anywhere you want. All the culture, history is all around you. Well, I just say, Craven Cottage, I've got utmost respect for that ground. It's absolutely brilliant, it's picturesque, it's everything, and if you want to see the airplanes going to Heathrow Airport, it's fantastic. But for me, it's St James's Park every time.
OK. Oh, David.
Score draw. Must be a score draw.
No, I'm going to give it to Fulham, Craven Cottage.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know.
1-1.
I've been to St James's Park, famously the time that Gazza came back and played the Spurs against Newcastle. I remember him going over to take a corner, I think at the Lees's end, and this torrent of Mars bars just went towards him. A wonderful memory there. Now we're going to come down to the nitty-gritty. We introduced this question last week, and the responses last week on the show were so good, we're going to throw it open to you two. Simon, you're going to go first. How good is the food at St James's Park?
Oh, it's excellent. What about the magpie? How can you get better than that? It's meat and potato in a pie. Massive, massive pie. Plays on our nickname. What more do you want?
David, food at Craven Cottage.
Well, it's Harrods food. I mean, how can you get any better than that? In the lounges with George Cohen and Alan Mallory, you have wonderful lamb or beef, or I mean the food that people get in there is fantastic. But if you're down at pitch level, I can recommend the pies as well. They're pretty darn good.
Well, you're still looking svelte, David, but you've lost that one. Newcastle 2, Fulham 1. Is that an omen for this afternoon? Simon, good luck with nufcblog.org. Thank you for taking the time and trouble to be with us on the blog off. And Diddy David, we doff our cap to you. Enjoy the game this afternoon, both of you.
Thank you very much.
I hope that's not the score, 2-1.
I've predicted that, so I hope it is.
This is Rock and Roll Football on Absolute Radio.
17